Hello, I'm Jack Loone. Board and card games have always been a popular activity for families and friends alike. However, over the last couple of years, there has been a rise in the amount of specialist board and card game stores opening up around the world. I spoke with Andy Palermo, the owner of one such store, on how he got involved with the industry.
Alright, so Andy, where did your passions for tabletop games start?
Oh wow! Way back, probably secondary school was got introduced to the Dungeon Master's Guide for Dungeons and Dragons after I'd been reading all the Final Fantasy choose your own adventure type books. And just went from there. It started off with D&D, just reading the whole book, being thrown into this whole world and adventure. Picking up miniatures, painting them for adventures, doing games with my next door neighbour. And that eventually led me going into a club in Dandenong called Dwarf, which was Dandenong Wargamers and Roleplayers Federation. That place, for years I went there after that, and that introduced me to not only role-playing but also war games. Had like about 70 members at one point, I think, or even more. And every Sunday, everyone would just converge on there. We had like 4, 5, even 6 different rooms of something happening, and you could just walk around. It was like a convention every Sunday. It was fantastic. Get there at 9 a.m. I, of course, had to go to church, being Italian Catholic. So I used to, finish doing the altar boy stuff at about 10 a.m. and quickly rush there for trying to get there for 10:30 or 11 o'clock and spend the rest of the day there till 6 p.m. and then get picked up by my parents again. And yeah, that's where it all started, really. It was fantastic. Golden days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you have your own shop, the Midian Guard. How'd you go about deciding to run your own shop?
I stepped away from gaming for quite a few years. Decided to do different things, find myself, left corporate life, got into being a personal trainer. And I said to myself, look, I want to look at some gaming. I was starting to get into some war games, but I really don't like the whole fact of having to carry stuff around, pick it up, pack it up, and just everything that goes with it, the painting, and that was just too much. So I just thought card games, and I'd been getting into a fair few card games from years ago, and I still had a lot of the old card games. So I saw Dragon Ball, nice colours and everything. Everyone was playing it, and I thought, I'll get into that. Before I knew it, I was making 20 different decks, buying enough cards, mind you, for that. So, when you've got your yellow extra cards, and most of my decks were yellow at that point.
I'm well aware of that.
Yeah, needing 4 of each card. Like I was on the websites buying 20 of one card. Before I knew it, I had boxes and boxes of cards. And then I decided to just concentrate on a few decks. But, I'm left there with something like 10,000 cards. What do I do with it? So I decided, instead of trying to list them individually, I'll do an online store. And that's where everything started. Just love the community, love the group behind it, and really decided to push forward on that. That turned into something quite popular, because when I did it, I bought out another company that was doing it, or another business. They wanted to get out of it and concentrate on their other product. So I was pretty much the only one on the market doing it. So it was a really good time. And I think that's where the whole start of it. It started really slow and scary, but then it just picked up, and I just kept going. Like I'd wake up of a morning, there'd be like a whole screen of orders there for individual cards, and I'd just pick that. By lunchtime, I was finished throwing them all at Australia Post, and then coming back, and then more orders would come in. And you really just need to get into a routine of when you're going to the post office, because I was going like 4 times a day, which was a little bit ridiculous. But you start to get into a routine and build up what the expectation actually is. Yeah, and that's where it went from there. I wanted to run tournaments. I didn't want to just be an online store. That wasn't the whole point of it. I wanted to create a community. So started to rent out at Scout Hall, but that wasn't enough. It wasn't my space. I was renting it, and people weren't really interested in coming to a Scout Hall. So yeah, I just threw my lot in with trying to find a place. Took me just over a year, and yeah, I did it. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, very much a man cave type setup.
It's a lovely setup. It's a
Yeah,
really nice vibe. I love coming there.
yeah.
So give me an overall sort of day-to-day basis of what goes on at the shop itself.
Oh wow, are you talking lockdown or are we talking normal
Let's talk pre-lockdown.
pre-lockdown? Look, coming in of a morning, getting the orders done as quickly as possible, because I've got to get to the post office or have them picked up and want to be back and really starting by about 11 a.m. And then I'm just in here, and I seem to be always chasing my tail with a lot of this stuff because there's just so much to load up. I've got cards everywhere, so it's about finding the cards, putting them up on the website, and making sure that I've got enough stock. And if I've got a particular card and I've got 200 of one card, I only list it up 40 at a time. And the rest gets stored. But then I bring in all my other games, and I started expanding, into games like Netrunner and my old games of Space Hulk, and yeah, it just started to really expand. And then the card game started to expand as I started to attract different people coming into the store saying, "Do you do this?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, we can do that. Why not?" So yeah, it's built up to a whole range of card games at the moment. And we're mostly concentrating on cards. I do get people here that want to also run some board games, which is fantastic. It's just about getting people coming in and enjoying a space and really reliving that, what I mentioned before, that golden era where people would just come and play games without any expectation, and very much like a gaming convention every time they come here. It's that type of experience that I want to really push.
Awesome. What would you consider is the most important aspect of running your business at the moment?
Uh, Probably keeping customers happy and making sure that you've got a consistent service level, I would think. Like, I love the fact that people are coming in here and just want to spend the time here. Like, sometimes I'm here till past 11 o'clock at night because guys just want to come in and hang out and have a good laugh and be loud. um, yeah, just you can't make everyone happy, but making sure that you're just enjoying yourself as well as the company of other people. And that's what I meant before about a man cave. It's not so much a retail store where I'm behind a counter. You've been here yourself, Jack.
Yeah.
I don't have a counter. Yeah,
No, you
when
don't.
you're here, like, you come and sit down, I'll come and sit down at the table with you. Like, there isn't that space between us type thing. Then you're like, "Oh, can I
No,
buy this?"
you're
"Oh,
very
yeah."
much involved with the customers.
Yeah, just that personalization. You know what? And if you don't want that, we've got the upstairs where you can just be by yourself or with your own group of mates. It's easy. That's what it is. Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you mentioned the number of different tournaments that you run.
Mm.
What would you say is I suppose, the best community in terms of the different card games and board games that are involved in your shop at the moment?
Nah, I'm not gonna be choosing one. They've all got their elements. You've got, like, the Magic players we have, your older ones, and they've got their own type of demeanor and comedy and aspect around them. You got your Yu-Gi-Oh players, which are a lot younger, more loud, and find different things funny. You know what? It was a real interesting seeing the Yu-Gi-Oh and the Magic players in at the same time, and they're just totally different people, and they each find what they come to enjoy. It really is their own thing. So I can't really pick that. The Dragon Ball guys are totally different to the Magic guys, who are totally different. There is a fab crossover with Flesh and Blood and Dragon Ball, but once again, they're different players. all the different games attract a different type of people, and understanding that is what's important. Like I've got a lot of Magic play or a lot of Final Fantasy players that also play Magic. They would be very much similar in that respect, but there's no way that I could pick a favorite. No, I enjoy them all.
Awesome.
Hmm.
All right. I want to talk about the whole industry in itself.
Yeah,
The company that runs the Dragon Ball Super card game
Vanguard.
as well as other card games, from 2018 they profited 191 million Australian dollars,
How much?
and in 2020 they profited 352 million Australian dollars.
Wow.
Why do you think there's been such a big increase in profits in the toys and hobbies section?
Wow, I wasn't even aware of those numbers. Look, I think we're talking like Bandai, yeah.
Yeah,
In that case, look, a lot of the people grew up with the cartoons of a morning or when they came home from school. Honestly, when I was young, it was Astro Boy. When my brother was growing up, it was Dragon Ball. It was Pokemon. And those people have started to really get into their jobs. Yeah, they're starting
yeah.
to retain positions of authority. More money's coming in. Many of them would have families and probably spare time on their hands as well. And they're looking to, do something with their time. A lot of these people have been influenced. Maybe they don't want to go out and spend the money. They want to congregate with other people and enjoy each other's company. And that's how they do that, like finding a common interest. A lot of the friends I've made, I would never have known if Dragon Ball wasn't a thing. Yeah, I'd just pass them in a shop and that was it. But now, like people such as yourself and everyone else who plays Dragon Ball, let's just say, I know those people because of those cartoons. And cards was the element for that. I think cards, as I said before, there's very little upkeep to them. Like you've got your deck, you bring your deck, you pack it up and you go home. Like there's not much to it. And I think the convenience and the ease of that, especially with the images and the imagery and what it brings back to that person, is what's important. So I think that is where we're at. We're so much on an electronic um, lifestyle at the moment. The more social media we have, the lonelier we become, I think. And I think this is just one of those outlets where you can go. Like, think of anything else. Like, where else are you going to go out and just have some fun and like meet like-minded people? It's not a bar. It's not a nightclub. It's like a gaming store. It's like a hobby store. It's like a special interest group. Yeah, and that's exactly what that is. And that's why I think they've just capitalized on that, and that's where the money is. Like, people want to spend money on stuff that they enjoy.
It's very true. Just to finish off, you recently expanded into selling Pokemon trading cards.
Hmm.
Do you see the store itself including official tournaments in the future?
Yeah, that's the next step we're going with. We're in the process with Yu-Gi-Oh at the moment, so we're just seeing how we go with that and our player base. Definitely want to go with Pokemon as well. Like we've got people that come into the store that ask if we're running Pokemon, and like I've said before, if people are coming in here and asking for it, why wouldn't we supply it? Like they want to be here, they want to be playing something. They come into the place and they like it. So I want to make that space for them. So yeah, definitely be looking at that, especially after lockdown. Concentrating right now though on that Yu-Gi-Oh and making sure that we supplant that and we keep that, and then move on to Pokemon from there. And that's pretty much the last like of the big three, big four card games that we're looking at the moment until someone else asks us to support something else.
Awesome. And just to finish off,
Mm.
what are you most excited about for the latest set for Dragon Ball Super?
Most exciting. Well, anyone that knows me, I'm a big chilled player. So,
Yes, I'm well
man,
aware.
the only thing, honestly, that I look for in the set is I look at the color cards that I can use and seeing if they fit into chilled. So it's stupid. I know people are talking about SCRs and this or that, go G to this, go G to that. Man, I just want a card that makes my deck function better and keeps it competitive. Yeah, either chilled or sell, or any of the other ones that people don't play. I'll even look at like Android 13. Yeah, I'm always the underdog guy. Yeah, I want to play
Yeah.
that rogue deck that takes a few heads out. You know, yeah, yeah, I like
All
that.
right.
Yeah,
All right.
bit of
Thank
fun.
you so much for your time. It's been great talking to you today.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Jack.